Hello, my dear students. I hope you people are fine. I hope you are studying regularly. You are able to understand the concepts. So, let us continue with the chapter Typical Configuration of Computer System. In our previous video, we have completed with certain ports like VGA, power connector, firewire, modem, Ethernet, game port, and DVI port. Now, we are left with the last two ports here. The first that we have to discuss here is about the sockets. So here I can show you, this is one of the socket to connect the CPU, as we have already seen this kind of image. So I'll be processor. So I'll be placing the processor into it, and I'll just put this one latch. This is low insertion force socket, LIF, the first motherboard. Okay, that is the 80 motherboard is using low insertion force socket in order to have the place the processor or the CPU, isn't it? Similar way, here we have the socket for the microphone. Okay, whenever you want to connect the microphone to your computer system, we are using the socket for this way, that is a microphone. So in under the socket, we need to just to know that sockets are specially used to connect the microphones, okay, speakers to the sound card of your computer system. So usually even the speakers also connector come sockets in this way, and microphone. So these are helping, sockets are helping to connect the external devices to your computer system. Mainly that has been used for microphone and the speakers. See, microphone and speakers has to make the connection to the sound card of your computer system. Sound card is being mounted onto your motherboard. Okay, that is PCI Express slot will be having that sound card. If your microphones and speakers are not connected to the sound card of your computer system or the motherboard which where the sound card is mounted, then you will not be able to hear any sound signals, whether you play the video, okay, song, or whenever you want to record something like that. So you will be not able to have any kind of voice signal. So it should make sure that this is the socket that is helping you to connect your external device like microphones and the speaker in order to make the connection to the sound card that has been present onto your motherboards in order to generate the sound signals or the voice signals. I hope you are understanding. Moving on to the last port that what we have to discuss is about the MIDI. So this MIDI actually makes use stands for the musical instrument digital interface. That means MIDI, in and out, means this is whenever you are playing any instrumental device which you want to connect to the computer, okay, and later you have to synthesize it. Okay, later you want to make the modification in those musical notes, then to provide the input, we are using the MIDI in, that is musical instrument digital interface port input it is. And after you make the changes in the notes or background music and everything, through this output channel it will be able to produce you the sound signals, the modification. That is, out means the output. Understood? So this MIDI port, it is a port that is actually designed to transmit the information between your electronical musical instruments like keyboard and the computer system. Usually orchestras and all, they'll be connecting all those huge instrumental devices to the computers. They'll be having certain notes and notations and all, isn't it? So for example, this MIDI musical keyboard can be attached to the computer system. It may allow the performer to play the music. So that music is being captured by the computer as a sequence of musical notes along with the timings. So this MIDI, it's been widely used for the musical backgrounds in multimedia application. That is what it is allowing to have latest mobile ringtones available, because they're all being connected to the computer system through the MIDI. Through that, they are able to generate the ringtones based upon the timings also. So this MIDI, these kinds of port are used only for the music purpose. Whenever you want to connect any instrumental device to your computer system, Only for that reason you are able to use these ports. They are not for the voice, they are not for the recording, hence you cannot record for the sound waves. Means any voice signals it will not be able to recognize. Only it will recognize the musical instruments, that is mean the notations or the music signals which have been generated by those musical instruments. It will be able to, you'll be able to your computer will be able to capture it, and it will allow you to make the modifications along with the timings also. So this was all about the musical instrument digital interface port. So this completes all your ports whatever we have to discuss. Moving on to the very important chapter and a very important question from your exam point of view is the bus. We have already discussed that the many components have been mounted onto your motherboard, and all the components have to communicate with each other by using a pathway known as the bus. I have shown you one of the slide where we were using the FSB, that is front side bus. It has been used to make the communication between the CPU and the random access memory through the North Bridge chipset. If you see that video, we are using FSB. FSB stands for front side bus. This bus are nothing but the parallel wires. Okay, before I'll explain you, I'll just show you. Now see here, you can see these lines, the minute lines. This is nothing but the bus. They are the wires that are carrying your data, instructions, or the signals, control signals. One more image I can show you. Yes, these golden color wires you can see here. You can see the lines of golden color. They are nothing but the internal bus. We are having different types of bus, but what are these? Bus are nothing but they are the parallel wires that is helping you to carry your data information. So this is our one of the chip. Can you see here arrow mark is being shown? This is nothing but the internal bus. Understood? Then here we are having internal bus clearly, and these are the external bus. So let us begin with the important topic, that is bus. So as we know that motherboard makes all the components present on it to communicate with each other. So there must be some connectivity between the motherboard and all the components in order to make them communicate with each other, isn't it? So therefore the motherboard usually makes use of a bus which provides a pathway between the different components of a computer. So bus actually serves as an interface or the mediator between the processor and the various external devices. Why processor? Because processor is the only unit that is able to convert your data into information. So all the components into your computer system has to communicate with the processor. If you are giving any program to add or to subtract, whatever it is, input devices has to make communication. Input devices will make a communication with the memory module. Memory module will make a communication with the CPU for the processing. Again, CPU will send the data back to the memory. Memory has to communicate with the output devices. So almost all the components of your computer system is having the communication between them. So that time this bus actually act as an interface or the mediator between the CPU and the various devices. It might be the external devices or the internal chipsets or something. Okay, so the different components like CPU, input output unit, and the memory unit are usually connected to each other by means of the bus. So what kind of data the bus can carry is, it can carry the data, instructions, and the signals are being carried between the different components via the bus. What data, instructions, you can understand. What is signals? Signals are nothing but whether the memory device is working properly or no, whether input output devices are working properly or no. In order to check, always there will be a, whenever the computer would start, there is always a check will go on, or whenever CPU wants to communicate with any of the devices onto your motherboard, it will send one control signal before it transfer the data. If that device if it is accepting your control signal to accept the data, then the CPU will start the sending the data onto the system bus. Understood? Okay, therefore we'll see what is the definition of the bus. So bus is nothing but they are the collection of parallel wires that form a pathway to carry the address, data, and the control signals. Now later I'll be discussing what exactly the address, data and the control signals. But you should know that a bus is nothing but they are set of parallel wires that are carrying you different kind of addresses, data and the control signals. Now let us see what are the basic features of any of the bus. So we have different kinds of bus. So let it be any kind of like internal bus or external bus. Always there is two features in common. So a bus is nothing but the set of wires, okay, and each wire can carry a bit of data. Then the bus width is defined by the number of wires in the bus. That means, for example, the width of this bus depend upon the number of wires present in that particular bus. So usually the width or the total number of wires in this particular bus may be of 16, 32, 64 or 128 or more. Okay, no matter how many number of wires are present in the particular bus, each wire has the capability to transmit only a single bit at a time parallelly. Okay, therefore the number of lines determine how many bits can be transferred at the same time. That means what? In this particular, if usually the bus will be having, these are nothing but the parallel wires, these are nothing but the wires I said. So usually bus will be having the capacity, how many number of capacity of wires is, it might be 16, 32, 64, 120 or 128. So no matter how many number of these are fixed numbers, these numbers cannot change. Okay, no matter how many number of wires are present in the bus, always it makes sure that each wire is having the capability to send only one single bit of a data at a particular time. Suppose if this bus is having 16 wires, that means at a time only 16 bit of data it can transfer. If this total number of wires in this bus, if it is 32, that means at a time each wire is capable of transferring only one bit of data, means at a time it can transfer how many bits of data? That is 32. So therefore the number of lines actually determine how many bits can transfer at the same time. So if the speed of the bus is high, obviously the data transfer between a processor and the RAM module will be very high. Then the processing speed of CPU will be very high. Therefore the performance of computer will be very fast. So all these are interconnected with each other. Always whatever the system bus we are using, it should be faster in case of transferring the data. Moving on to the different types of bus. The first, there are two types of bus, that is internal and the external bus. This internal bus actually, okay, I'll just be showing you. Yes, this internal bus, it actually connects the major components like processor, memory and the input, which are also called as the system bus. The internal bus, here you can see. Okay, so we have this internal bus which is also called as the system bus. This system bus usually connects the major components like processor, memory and the input output. Any data transfer takes between these three modules, the system bus or the internal bus has been responsible. That means it actually links the different parts of computer to the processor and the main memory. Its primary task is to send the data and instructions from the various parts to the CPU and memory units. So this is the bus that has been used by the higher components of the computer for the data transfer, like processor, memory and the input unit. I hope you are able to understand. Usually the system bus will handle the higher components. That means FSB, I said, FSB, the North chipset is taking care of the major components of your computer system, and the data transfer who is taking care, that is the system bus, is the one who is taking care. That one of the system bus, this system bus you can also call it as front side bus also. So which is taking care the data transfer between the CPU. CPU is nothing but your processor, memory and the input output units. Moving on to the next different type, that is the external bus. Okay, this external bus is also called as an expansion bus. Usually that act as an interface for the peripheral devices like hard disk, CD-ROM drives and the flash drives to get connected to the processor. I have already shown that your hard disk controller is using this 40-pin connector in order to make it the connection between the computer system and the hard disk drive internally, isn't it? So external bus always use these kinds of cables to connect. Usually the internal buses are there mounted on the motherboard itself. They are nothing but the parallel wires. So this kind of external bus, they are also called as expansion bus. They always used by the peripheral devices, like to connect hard disk, CD-ROM drives and the flash drives, like your pen drives, your external hard disk or your CD-ROM, whatever you are placing. So it connects the different external or peripheral devices. You can expansion slots, okay, input output ports and the drive connections to the processor. Thus it will expanding the capability of your computer system. Usually this expansion bus is kind of a slower than comparatively to the system bus. Usually this expansion bus handles the slower components of the computer, which is taken care by the South Bridge chipset, whereas the internal bus will be taken care by the North Bridge chipset. Okay, so that is why the system bus is much faster, because it is handling higher components of your computer system like processor, memory and input output units. Hence the data transfer should be faster comparatively to the expansion bus. We know that if the internal bus data transfer must be faster, so that your CPU processing should be faster. Usually internal bus will be used by North chipset, whereas the external bus will be used by the South Bridge chipset. Already I have shown you the motherboard image slide where exactly the North Bridge and the South Bridge is been placed onto the motherboard. Okay, so I hope you are able to understand. So moving on to the next one, the system bus or the expansion bus, anyway it might be a system or the expansion bus. We are having again the three kinds of buses. The first one is the, here I can show you, okay, this is system bus. It is having the three kinds of bus, that is nothing but the data bus, address bus and the control bus. So now let us move on to the, what is this actually, the data bus. The data bus actually provides the path to transfer the data and instruction among the different components, mainly between the CPU and the memory. You can see here, whenever there is a transfer between the data transfer between the CPU and the memory, I have to make use of the data bus, and it also help you to have the data transfer between the input output devices. See, commonly bus is nothing but the pathway. Previously what we have discussed is bus is nothing but the pathway in order to have the data transfer between them. They are just the parallel wires. So in that bus we have internal and the external bus. Internal bus, those who handle only the higher components of computer system for the data transfer. External bus is nothing but the one which will handle the data transfer between the lower components of your computer system. Now in this system bus we are having again three different types of bus. The first one is the data bus. Now who is among all these things, who is the one who is transferring the actual data and information to the CPU, between CPU, memory and input output devices, is nothing but the data bus. Okay, so this data bus may consist of 32, 64 or 128 lines of wires or 16 lines of wires. So usually these number of lines actually determine the width of the bus, as I have already shown here. So it might be, this might be the data bus. Okay, so it may consist of 16, 32, 64 or 128 lines. So this will actually tells the width of the bus. Therefore the more number of wires, the more the speed of the bus, means the greater the speed in data transfer rate. So therefore the width of the bus will obviously will affect the speed of the computer system. So if they may ask, define the width of the bus. So width of the bus is nothing but, it actually nothing but the number of lines present in that particular bus is nothing but the width of the bus. So one example I'll give you so that you can understand better. If the system bus is having 16 bit, then it can transfer 16 bit of data at a time. If the system bus is having data bus is having of 128 wires in it, then it may transfer 128 bits at a time. So usually the bus speed is being measured in terms of megahertz, and higher the bus speed, faster the processor speed, so the CPU can process your data faster. So this completes about the data bus. So in our next video, we would like to discuss about the address bus and the control bus, and we shall move to the next topic, memory. So students, I hope you are understanding this clearly. Okay, so it's very simple. Just go through the videos again and again so that you can clearly understand the concept. But this question, explain the bus architecture of the motherboard, it's very important question from your exam point of view. I hope the concepts are clear. Take care of yourself. Thank you, students.